Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day is going very well so far. The long wait is finally over. The college football playoff final is officially here. We have got an all-time matchup on our hands here, guys, between the Ohio State Buckeyes and my Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's going to be a great matchup and a great conclusion to what has been a pretty solid first year of the expanded college football playoff bracket. And as always, guys, I got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. It's kind of bittersweet here, guys. This is the final college football video of this season here on Guy Boston Sports. It's honestly insane where the time went. This season honestly flew by faster than I think any college football season I can recently remember. So I just want to say, before we dive into the picks for this matchup, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support all season long. From a viewership standpoint, this was the best year we have ever done on college football content in terms of viewership, subscribers, likes, all that stuff, comments. That also includes going back to when Ev used to do the college football videos. This was the most successful year from a viewership standpoint we have ever had. So from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of our hearts here at Guy Boston Sports, thank you for the support all season long. This is my second year doing college football picks here on the channel, and I had a lot of fun. I had a blast doing it. Can't wait to come back next year for year 3, doing college football picks with you guys. But yeah, with this being our final video of the year, I just wanted to express my gratitude, my appreciation for your guys' support and your viewership all season long. One more thing before we dive into the picks for this matchup, let's go ahead and do a quick little recap of how we're looking from a record standpoint going into this final game. This was our last video out. It feels like a decade ago that we had a college football playoff video, but it was the Texas-Ohio State game back on January 9th, 10 days ago. We did go 3-1 in that video. We're on a really good run here throughout the playoffs. We haven't had a losing day yet throughout these playoffs. As you can see, they're 3-1 in our last video out. So overall, on the college football season, we are 96, 96, and 3. Now, to some of you, you're looking at that and saying, that's not that great of a record. Why are you so excited about that? For those who have been watching all year long, we had a couple of really bad weeks that tanked our record, but I promise you guys, by the end of the year, we were going to be 500 or better, and here we are, the final video of the year, 96, 96, and 3. We did it. But we've still got one more video to do, so let's not jinx it. Let's go ahead and finish the year strong, finish with a winning record. 4 college football playoff championship picks coming your way right now. Jumping on over to the outlier screen, guys, my first pick in today's video, and it should come as no surprise. There's no way I was going to go ahead and bet against my team. We're going Notre Dame Fighting Irish on the spread, plus 9.5. We're getting it for minus 125 odds over on FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM. As always, guys, make sure to go ahead and shop around for the best sportsbook odds available. And before you guys rush to the comments and hit me with the biased comments and all this stuff, I'm being flat out honest. Taking the Notre Dame sweatshirt off for a second here, okay? Not actually going to go ahead and do that. I don't want to scare anybody here. But even if I wasn't a Fighting Irish fan, I would still rock with Notre Dame with this point plus 9.5. I'm being genuinely honest. That's not bullshit. That's not me trying to convince you because I'm a Notre Dame fan, and of course I'm rocking with my team here. I genuinely, if I was not a Notre Dame fan, would still take them plus 9.5. I know Ohio State, they've been on this incredible run, and it really has been incredible. Since the Michigan loss, throughout these 3 playoff games that they have played, they have crushed their opponents and beaten some really impressive teams along the way. You know, back in round 1 when they beat Tennessee and they beat them down pretty steadily, yeah, we were impressed, but we were kind of like, yeah, Tennessee, what were they really? But then they go ahead and they beat Oregon by 20. And then they follow that up by beating Texas by 14. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, damn. This team is for real. They're not only good, they are great. It's been a great, not only have they won all these games, but they're killing every team they're playing. Texas was the 5th ranked team in the country. Oregon, the number 1 ranked team in the country, hadn't lost a game all year. Ohio State has been a buzzsaw this last month or so, crushing through some of the elite teams in college football. But all that being said, 9.5 points is far too many points for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And look, I didn't take Notre Dame money line. I honestly, if I had to give you my honest, unbiased opinion, I think Ohio State wins this game. I hope that's not the case. As a Notre Dame football fan, I hope that Notre Dame wins this game. I'm praying to God that Notre Dame wins this game just as much as Shane Gillis is. By the way, shout out to Under Armour and Shane Gillis. That commercial was hilarious. I'm praying to God that Notre Dame wins. But I'm also a realistic person. I also have to take my bias aside sometimes, especially when I'm making videos. And be honest, I do think Ohio State is going to win this game. That being said, 9.5 points in a national title game with a Notre Dame team that has been honestly hotter than Ohio State from an overall perspective, I think 9.5 points is way too many. Now, overall this year, Notre Dame has been a cash cow, regular season and playoff. They are an 85% cover rate against the spread overall this season. Only 2 times that they failed to cover the spread. They failed to cover it versus Northern Illinois, obviously back in early September, and then again versus Miami, Ohio. They barely missed the spread there. Besides those 2 games, they have been a cover machine all season long. And if we look at more specifically this line of plus 9.5, they have hit this at a 100% hit rate this year. They have not been beaten by 10 or more at all this year. And they've had their fair share of tough opponents also. They've played Penn State. They have played Georgia. They played Indiana, whatever you want to say about Indiana. They were a really solid team going into that matchup. If you want to make the argument that Ohio State is more battle-tested, I'm not going to try and stop you. I understand Ohio State. They have beaten the best of the best. But let's not act like Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be here and doesn't deserve to be respected in this spot. They have beaten their fair share of good teams. They've gotten here just the same way that Ohio State has. Despite all the injuries, this defense is still elite, one of the best in college football. And yes, does their offense have limitations with Riley Leonard, specifically when it comes to throwing the football? Absolutely. But there's a team of destiny vibe to this Notre Dame team that just cannot be ignored. And Ohio State fans are going to hate me for saying this, but I do think Marcus Freeman, the way he's coaching this team, not to take a shot at Ryan Day, who's done a good job bouncing back from the Michigan loss, I think this Notre Dame team, this coaching staff, can outcoach this Ohio State team. And look, I can go deep in depth on the numbers and the statistics, but the reality is both these teams rank in the top elite of college football. Look at defense. Ohio State number 1, Notre Dame 6th ranked offense, Notre Dame 2nd ranked defense, Ohio State 12th ranked offense. Again, I can go ahead and enter a pissing contest between these 2 teams. They both rank incredibly well in a lot of the key categories. Although I will be honest, as great as Ohio State's offense has been, I do think Notre Dame's defense is good enough to slow Will Howard down and this Ohio State offense. I just think it's far too many points. I think both these teams are riding hot. Notre Dame has not lost a game since September 7th. And again, they've covered the spread of plus 9.5 in every single game. They're destroying teams on the road. They've beaten good teams. Their closest win of late was that Penn State game, which obviously was a close win, but they have been beating teams steadily all season long. 9.5 points. I get Ohio State's been playing so well, but it just feels disrespectful. This Notre Dame defense, I think, has the stuff. It has the guts. It has what it takes to slow Ohio State down. So I'm not saying Notre Dame's going to win the game, but 9.5 points just feels like way too many. I feel a lot more safer, a lot more comfortable taking Notre Dame plus 9.5 than I would taking Ohio State minus 9.5. So give me the Fighting Irish on the spread plus 9.5. That's our first pick in today's video. And guys, by the way, because this is the final college football video of the year, I want to go ahead and give my appreciation, my thank you to you guys for watching all year long. Normally, every week I do these kind of giveaway contests. I'm not going to make any exceptions. I'm not going to say like, oh, this team needs to win in order to hit this giveaway. We're not going to do that. All you have to do is comment Natty, N-A-T-T-Y, Natty, down below in the comments. I'm going to pick one of you guys or gals, one of you lucky ladies and gentlemen out there to win a free $25 Amazon gift card. So go ahead, comment Natty down below if you are watching today's video. And again, no, it doesn't need anything to happen. Don't need Notre Dame to win or Ohio State to win. Just comment Natty, and one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. All right, guys, moving on from the spread pick now. I still have 3 more picks to go in today's video, and yes, they are all player props. And our first player prop I'm targeting in today's video is Mitch Jeter, the kicker for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, over 5.5 kicking points in this spot. Believe it or not, this is actually a plus money play over on FanDuel, plus 102 odds, so pretty good value on this prop as well, and the data is absolutely fantastic. Now, we'll start with the wider view before we narrow it down a little bit. So the overall season view for Mitch Jeter, a 69% hit rate. Pause for applause. I know we're wearing the Notre Dame sweatshirt, and I probably shouldn't make 69 jokes, but 69%. Pause for the applause. 9 out of 13 games this year, he has cashed the over for Notre Dame, averaging 7.08 kicking points per game this season. Again, now starting to narrow the data down a little bit. Last 10 games for Mitch Jeter, 70% hit rate, 7 out of 10 games, averaging 6.9. Come on, guys, one more time. Pause for the applause. Listen, if you're watching college football videos, it's the last time you got to hear my voice and hear my 69 jokes until next August or September. So bear with me here. 6.9 kicking points per game average over the last 10 games, so pretty solid numbers. And then narrow it down to the last 5 games, primarily the last 3 in the college football playoffs. 100% hit rate, averaging 8.6 kicking points per game over his last 5 games. And again, really focusing in here on the playoff games, the last 3 games, 9 kicking points versus Indiana, 11 kicking points versus Georgia, and 9 kicking points against Penn State, including that miracle game-winning field goal. So yeah, the data is really solid, and we look at the red zone efficiency defense here for Ohio State, the second most efficient defense in the red zone, and for Notre Dame, just the 78th ranked efficient offense in the red zone. What that means, I think, is that Notre Dame is going to be able to move the ball. They're going to be able to get into field goal territory. They're going to move the ball into Ohio State side of the field. But I do think, especially maybe early on in the game, they're going to have to settle for some field goals in some spots. They're not going to be able to score a bunch of touchdowns. So Ohio State defense is really shifty. So I do think Notre Dame is going to have to rely on Mitch Jeter a little bit more in this game than normal, which obviously we're talking over and kicking points. I think is a pretty solid bet. Remember, we're talking kicking points here. 2 field goals made, we cash this over. I think it's very plausible he takes at least 3 field goal attempts in this game for Notre Dame. So I like the over here for plus money too. Just great value, and the data across the board is really, really solid. All right, guys, my next pick here, my second player prop in today's video is Will Howard of the Ohio State Buckeyes to throw an interception in this game. I know you guys at this point are going to keep saying, how is this video not biased? Everything seems to be pro Notre Dame and anti-Ohio State. I totally understand. But from a data and matchup standpoint, this actually is a really solid player prop. It's available on a couple of different sportsbooks for varying odds. Prize Picks, Underdog seem like the best. I know they're not available in a lot of different places. FanDuel obviously is widely utilized, minus 136 over on FanDuel. A little juice there, but still decent value. Again, like the last prop, we'll start with the overall season view and then narrow things down. Overall this year, a 60% hit rate on this over of half an interception for Will Howard. 9 out of 15 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.67 interceptions per game this season. Now, narrowing it down to just the last 10 games, still pretty good. 60% hit rate. 6 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.7 interceptions per game. And again, now narrowing it down to the last 5 games and primarily looking at the last 3 in the playoff. 4 of his last 5 games, an 80% hit rate, averaging 1 interception per game. And look at the 3 playoff games so far. He threw an interception versus Tennessee. He did not throw one versus Oregon, but he did throw one last week, or last time out versus Texas, I should say. So the data is really solid here across the board. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. Shout out to Outlier, by the way. In the pinned comment where the final plays will also be a link to get a free trial to check out everything that you're seeing in this video for yourself. I'm only showing you guys a little bit of data. There is so much more insight, so much more information that Outlier provides. I'm only giving you guys the tip of the iceberg. So if you like what you've seen in the video, you like the data, if you watched my videos before and you like all the information where I'm getting all these numbers from and whatnot, those all come from Outlier, the sponsor of today's video. The link will be down below in the pinned comment. When you click on that pinned comment, it'll take you to GuyBossSports.com. The link will be right there at the top of the page for your 7-day free trial to check out Outlier. Thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. But yeah, the insights provided by Outlier. Will Howard has exceeded half an interception in 5 straight games versus top 25 defenses for interceptions forced, averaging 1 interception per game across his last 5 games. Texas obviously does fit that data point there, so good matchup. And Notre Dame so far this year, the 4th best team in college football in terms of interceptions forced. They are averaging 1.3 interceptions forced per game. So really good matchup here. Even if Ohio State doesn't win the game, I think it's pretty plausible to see that Will Howard could throw an interception in this spot. He's been playing great in the playoffs, but Will Howard has been known in these kind of key situations, these key spots, to throw a couple risky interceptions here or there. And for my 4th and final pick of today's video, my final pick for the college football 2024-25 season, we have Jeremiah Love of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Anytime touchdown here. We're getting it for plus 145 on FanDuel, or the best odds. It is available on multiple sportsbooks here for varying odds. And for a plus money play, the data is fantastic. Look at the season view for Jeremiah Love. 93% hit rate on the year, 14 out of 15 games. He's scored a touchdown this season, averaging 1.27 touchdowns per game this year. Over the last 10 games, narrowing it down, 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed this. 90% hit rate, averaging 1.3 touchdowns per game. And narrowing down to the last 5-game view, 4 of his last 5 games, 80% hit rate, averaging 1.2 touchdowns per game. Narrowing it even further down to the last 3 playoff games here, he's cashed this in 2 out of 3 playoff games versus Indiana and versus Penn State. He did not score a touchdown versus Georgia. But that Georgia game was literally the only game all year long where he's failed to score a touchdown. And the insights provided by Outlier just kind of reiterate the same point. Actually adds last year's data a little bit too, that December 29th from 2023 against Oregon State, their bowl game there. Jeremiah Love has exceeded half a touchdown in 15 of his last 16 games dating back to last season, averaging 1.2 touchdowns per game and 94% hit rate. Now, I know Ohio State, their defense, they are one of the best defensive teams in college football, maybe even the best. You look at the ranking on the right side of the screen, touchdowns allowed, they are the best defense in college football, only give up 1.4 touchdowns per game. I know the matchup's tough. I understand all that, but it's not like Jeremiah Love hasn't faced solid defenses before. Indiana, really good defense. Penn State, one of the best defenses. They faced good defenses this year, and he still prevailed. I understand Georgia, he didn't. I understand Ohio State, a really tough matchup. But for plus 145 odds, for a guy that this year is cashing this at a 93% hit rate, I'm willing to go ahead and roll the dice there. If Notre Dame's going to score, they're going to need Jeremiah Love to contribute in that category. So I like the spot here for plus 145 to really, really solid value. So guys, that is it for me today. That is it for the 2024-25 college football pick season here at Guy Boston Sports. Guys, thank you very much for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I know college football is over, but there's still so much great content coming out here on the channel. Between NFL, we're finishing up here with the playoffs. We've got NBA, MLB will be here before you know it. So much great data, so much great picks, so much great content here. I know this is the end of college football, but I promise you guys we still have so much more to offer here on the channel. So please don't unsubscribe. Don't refrain from hitting that subscribe button just because college football is done. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and drop a comment down below. I'll say it one more time from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for another fun college football season. It was fun to see the growth. It was fun to see the roller coaster with the picks record. Hopefully we finish strong here. We finished above 500, but we did at least make it back to 500 by the end of the year, which was, of course, the promise. So, guys, thank you one more time. Thank you. We'll be back here next year for my third year doing college football picks. We'll see you all back in the fall. Until then, hope you're all winners. Go Notre Dame. Let's go Fighting Irish. Bring home that natty. Been waiting for this for a very long time. Finish the job. Upset Ohio State. Prove everyone wrong. Let's go ahead, guys. Hope you're all winners. Enjoy the national title game. We'll see you when we see you.